Live.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the favorite ass, Talking Ass. Joining me tonight, as always, or for the first time if you're just joining us, we have the man who nurtures and supports more than a jockstrap, Kelly Toole. Kelly, why don't you introduce yourself to everyone?
Hi, everybody. It's Kelly Toole at KELLYTHO on Twitter. And is that a scale behind you, Mike?
That depends. Are you the police?
Never mind.
And joining us, as always, the man from the snooze, Tony Solo.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Talking Ass.
Now, Kelly, just to get started, I noticed you're wearing some interesting sunglasses. Is this a Kanye West-esque statement?
No, actually, it's just so I can read my notes. I can't really wear them for the full show, but I'll put them on here for a sec. So we all know the assistant is, internationally popular. However, the Midwest has been just beset, huge assistant fans in the Midwest. And so we just a week ago, there was AskCon, and I was able to go to AskCon and get glasses in kind of commemorative of the episodes we're going to be talking about tonight. And
Now,
so
what goes on at AskCon?
mostly you buy ugly sunglasses and talk about the assistant. You may be familiar with a different one, but that's the one I go to.
Was
You just
Kim
buy glasses.
Kardashian there? Was Kim Kardashian there?
She was the Grand Prime Minister, Grand Marshal, whatever they have. So,
The keynote speaker or something?
yeah, she was the keynote AskCon.
Oh, boy.
What about you, Tony? Any AskCon stories before we delve into the meat of this thing?
Yeah, I don't know if you can hear, but I'm not feeling very well. I'm a little bit under the weather. So I was flagged by the CDC and Homeland Security to not travel because I may have the plague. So they quarantined me to my bunker here in New Jersey.
I
And
too am in a bunker in New Jersey.
yeah, I was wondering. There's a much different look from what we're used to seeing from Mikey B.
I am on my cell phone, so
And you actually, so if anybody ever wondered, I guess you actually have working lights somewhere in your secret location.
when I'm in the New Jersey location, yes. In Philadelphia, we live in pure darkness. My skin turns translucent when I cross back over the state line, and I live sort of like a bat, using sonar to hone in on things rather than sight.
So, do you still live in the part of Philadelphia where you're not allowed to have electricity, just like stone knives and wood fires and stuff for heating?
Yes, yeah.
Which is
It's called
what,
the
the city
Northeast.
limits? Is that
It's actually one of our better places. That
It's a higher end neighborhood.
yeah.
Yeah, they let them
So
have
Kelly,
wood.
Kelly, you
Yes,
said
Mike.
you have some ass notes to share with us.
I do. I don't have a lot, so we're talking about today episodes 41, 42, 43, and 44, which are respectively Ravine Crystal, Time, Future, and Time After Time, which I was very disappointed to see was not a reenactment of the Cyndi Lauper song. But Ravine
Now,
Crystal kicked it off, and
are you a Cyndi Lauper fan?
no, but I did want to see Dylan's interpretation.
That would be excellent. I would love to see that. I met Cyndi Lauper. She was a very nice person, and I would love to see Dylan really bring her out as a character.
Agree completely. Ravine Crystal is mostly a guest appearance by Noah, who regaled us with the story of the Ravine Crystal, which apparently a version of Dylan told him at some point in time.
The Ravine Crystal superhero, as he's corrected at one point. But there's the Ravine Crystal, but it was the story of how um, it was snatched off of the bad guy and taken and using for good. And that was in a nutshell. But hey, I left my comment on the video, Noah rules. That was a great performance from Noah. He must have worked on that for months and months and months.
Yeah, it was impressive. And maybe we can start outside the AskCon hashtag, which I'm sure is lighting up Twitter as we speak. Maybe a less Dylan, more Noah hashtag would be another good one to consider. He did a nice job. And then in episode 42, Time, that's where the shades showed up. Dylan has quite the pair of sun. He has worn some interesting eyewear throughout the series, but I would say episode 42 is his best yet as far as sunglasses go.
I'm gonna agree, but they're special sunglasses, and you don't find that out until a couple of episodes later. But there was some nice lens flare in that episode, so props for the lens flare. And then there was a couple of shout outs. There was a shout out to Myrna, I believe.
Who's apparently piloting TARDIS 1.
And then TARDIS 2 is being piloted by someone else.
Scotty, I believe, was, if I heard it correctly. Oh, we get Tony down for a second. TARDIS 3 was Noah. So
Yes,
what does Dylan TARDIS 0?
Maybe he's pre-TARDIS.
Maybe he's just
He could have a
retarded.
negative number.
Or it could go with Mike's scoring mechanism and he's TARDIS orange or something like that.
Yes, exactly. I think you nailed it there, Kelly.
Well, I think he needs to retardis because he hasn't TARDISed yet. So he needs to get his TARDIS. But
apparently the market's pretty good for it. We got 3 of them in flight. So he's the only guy without a TARDIS right now.
Well, certified pre-owned TARDISes are on the rise.
Doesn't Ford
TARDISes
make
or
those?
TARDI?
Isn't that a Ford TARDIS?
Yep.
Ford makes those, right?
I believe so.
So, just my 2 cents here. I'm thinking if Myrna's driving around in a time TARDIS, she's got to be lost somewhere. So, that's just my opinion.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think if Myrna is piloting a TARDIS, she is sending it back to a minute before she walks in, and she's basically in this endless loop, just kind of spinning around, going in and out of the TARDIS. But and then he talked about something that he said he wanted to make sure he didn't do anything to draw attention. Which I got to come back to the glasses again. I think he's going to need to downgrade because those are style and attention grabbing shades he's got going on.
Well, he was out in the middle of a field. So, I mean, if anybody's going by, I mean, it's like, who's that dude out there? And then if they were close enough to see those funky glasses, yeah, that would draw some attention, I'm thinking. However, in, is it Future?
Future, 43, Future.
In Future, we find out, we made predictions, I think, on the last show, and I said I don't think I trust Gary. There's something not right with that character. And so Future Dylan is coming back and trying to avoid letting Gary know what's going on. So that is a big, big piece of the story puzzle that we've got there, that maybe Gary's not what he seems. But I'm going to take 200 points for that one because I predicted Gary wasn't a good guy.
Yeah, and
I give myself 1,000 points.
You can, but you have to have a valid
I'm just
reason.
I'm just throwing that out there.
Just
You
do it.
you can, but I
Just
mean,
to do it.
it'd be nice if you said, "I'm
It's for
giving
being
myself."
the biggest fan of the assistant. That's
Um,
me.
well, I would have said it would have been acceptable if you took 1,000 points for being in an undisclosed location and doing talking ass from a cell phone. That would have
See,
been
all right,
enough.
that's what it is then. It's because I'm so dedicated. I'm doing this from a cell phone.
But then we're going to have to give Kelly 1,500 points for going to AskCon and wearing those hip ass glasses that he's got on there.
Right.
Kelly did get all up in that ass. Con.
Finish pacing here, pacing.
That was it. You want to know something? If that pause was just a little bit longer, it would not have been funny, I think.
Well,
Uh, well, it was funny to us,
I don't
Kel.
know. Yeah, funny to you. Yeah, funny to you. Yeah, so I did find it interesting though, and I had wanted to do it for this show. I just didn't get the time to do it. There's a lot of time shifting occurring in these multiple episodes here, and he's thrown out a lot of markers on key events and all that. And I want to draw it all out on a whiteboard to make sure I have it right, but I didn't get a chance to do that. But what I did notice was that in future, it's July 3rd that he's jumped to, and apparently the weather in July 3rd in the future is almost identical to what weather's like right now.
I don't. Well, he did mention that in time that it was not as cold as it was in 2025, 10 years from that present time. But I think when he was in July, I think he was inside. Um, so he didn't like. We don't know what the weather was like outside. I think time wise, uh, time ended, and then future takes right up. So he time jumped from February 2nd to July 3rd. So I think that's why he had the same clothes on. And then in the
Oh, okay. All right.
time after time episode, he jumped to that time after July, although I'm not really sure. But chronologically, I think the Noah episode with the Ravine Crystal actually happened last because we see Dylan in the last episode going in to tell Dylan, which is the big time loop thing that he did. In the last episode, time after time was when it was right before he went in to tell Dylan to tell Noah the story, and the first episode we got was 41, where um, Dylan gets Noah to tell him the story that he told him
Mm-hmm.
previously. So that was awesome. That little time loop thing that he did there.
Agree. Mike looks like he's pensively contemplating a point. And he's
I haven't gotten there yet.
okay. We'll give you a couple more minutes here. Collect yourself. But
Okay.
Okay. You know what? I'm just gonna wing it. I think that Cyndi Lauper will in fact be a character in this. Now that we're talking about this out loud, and you're talking about how characters can go back in time and warn themselves, what if Dylan went back in time, met Cyndi Lauper, and had her create that song as a warning for future him?
Well, um, that is awesome, but I think if you go back a show or two, you'll see I also threw that suggestion out for where a future Dylan could come back and warn the present Dylan of something that was going on.
but not through song.
Not through
Mike's
song.
theory is through song, which
Well,
is
not through song and not through telling Noah a story about a ravine crystal, but we find out that it seems that Dylan has possibly been attempting to come back and help himself all along, and he's trying to do it in a way where he's not alerting Gary to what's going on because the Plutonians, it seems like we've got two different adversaries here. We've got the Arcturians and the Plutonians. So Now, all we need is after the Plutonians, we get the Goofonians and the Mickey Mouse Club, and we're all good.
There you go. Yeah, and apparently everything goes downhill after September, I believe, 2015.
Yes.
So it's I got to work on that chart, but looks pretty good
So
there.
we really
But,
don't have that much time left.
God, that's scary. No.
And if you followed the thread on Twitter from, was it yesterday, about the hairy women, uh, or Mike's hairy back is what started it all off.
Yes, this is a very oh goodness. The Oh, and I guess the other thing is, so I know you guys are not big Doctor Who guys, but the TARDIS, you may have heard in the past, the TARDIS has a very distinctive kind of sound when it departs and arrives, and it's almost like an engine catching, but it's a futuristic engine catching. I think we learned in
Which
these
Cyndi
episodes it's all.
Lauper song does it remind you of?
What's that?
Which Cyndi Lauper song does it most remind you of?
That's a good question. I guess girls just want to have TARDIS. I guess maybe, but but
Now, what's the plural of TARDIS?
I gotta think TARDI. Yeah, not TARDIS. This is.
Yeah, it doesn't roll off the tongue the way the TARDI does.
I would do TARDI. Maybe we'll find out because there are at least 3 TARDI in effect here. So maybe we'll hear Dylan speak what the plural is, which would be great to hear. So we'll all know.
Could it be one of those weird words where TARDIS is actually singular and plural?
That would
We
not
have
be as
3
fun,
TARDIS.
but yeah, that could work. And I think Dylan's the only one who really knows, so we'll have to see if he talks about them in the plural tense or talk about them in plural. But what I wanted to make sure I mentioned is that we learned the time travel sound in here, which apparently is. You heard that, but every time he arrives in just before, there's a shush, and then there's it. So it's pretty cool.
Well, and there's also
Can
the
you do that
clicking.
sound one more time, Kelly?
No.
There's also the clicking of setting the because we find out that Dylan is actually fumble fingered because instead of hitting the 9, he hit a 7 and got himself into July because his hand was cold from where he had come from. And he leaves the glasses there for himself to find. Um, we also learn that around June 20th, he is going to find the Ravine Crystal, and he put it someplace even he could find it. So that leaves many, many places that I was thinking of that Dylan could have placed it, that he might be able to find it, but I'm not going to go there.
You gonna share any of those theories, Tony?
No, but I'm going to claim points for each and every one of them. They're not for the radio. Let's just put it this way. It's maybe if you were ever arrested and went to the jailhouse, as both of you guys have been in the past, we've learned. The type of screening that you have to go
That's
through.
actually where Kelly and I met.
So the kind of searching that you have to go to as you're going into prison. It's, just use your imaginations there.
All up in that TARDIS.
It's bigger on the inside. We know that, right?
I haven't seen what a Ravine Crystal looks like, but I hope it doesn't have sharp edges, I guess, then. So, we'll see.
I'm guessing it looks like a Pez dispenser.
And
thingy.
they hurt, believe me.
Doesn't it depend on the character? I would assume certain characters.
All of mine are Batman.
That would hurt. That would hurt. I don't think Mickey Mouse would be exactly great either, but
Bugs Bunny with those pointy ears. No, not happening.
Bullwinkle the Moose, no, thank
No.
you. No, thank you.
Not even Rocky the Squirrel. Don't want him either.
No. All right. And on that up note, I think we might want to. You want to shut this bad boy down, Mike, from your bunker?
Yeah, we are getting close to that time where the government's going to kick in the doors and forcibly cavity search all of us. So I think then, without further ado, speaking for everyone here, we are all bigger on the inside.
Dr. Mike.